Hi, it's Marlene Ike. Last month, I had the pleasure of spending a few days with a group of colleagues, all women who work in agriculture, many of them business owners or leaders, and are near my stage in life. During one of our conversations, I asked the group, what do you think your 50-year-old self would tell your today self? In other words, what advice would your future self, and a not so completely far away future self, give your current self? So this episode is about what they said. I took the answers and then traveled to the home of my friend and colleague, Melinda Witten, so that she and I could discuss those answers. Melinda is a wife to Scott, a mom to Audrey and Nick, a director of leadership programs, a good friend to many, and an occasional blogger of her life amidst sweet corn and tomatoes. Melinda's family owns and operates a produce farm in southeastern Ohio. She'll tell you more about that, her work, and her family in our conversation before we take off into our discussion about the advice that our future selves are doling out. So without further ado, enjoy my conversation with Melinda Witten as we talk about what would our future selves tell our current self. Hey, it's Marlene, and I'm here with my friend and colleague, Melinda Witten, and
Hi.
we are in Melinda's kitchen. Thanks.
You're welcome.
So-
Welcome to my kitchen table. Hopefully there's not dried macaroni and cheese anywhere.
And the kids are off at school and doing their thing for the day, and
That's
so
right.
we're just here.
We're officially in the school stage, so early mornings, cranky afternoons. It's fabulous.
But I got to see them last night, and they seemed really excited. Like your daughter has just started school, and she's
Right.
still in the excited about school stage.
Excited about school, mad that they aren't doing more to learn stage.
If only that could last
I
forever.
know. I'm like, whose kid is this? Like, you know, screw off as much as you can. Like the first few weeks of school, what's wrong with you? No, she's extremely excited, and Nick starts preschool next week, and he is just worried that there's enough tractors at preschool, and does he need to take more for everyone to play with? So he literally asked the teacher that the other night at preschool, was there at the orientation. How many tractors do you have? Do you need more? I will bring you more. She's like, all right, we're here to learn.
Let's talk a little bit about your background, just because I want people to hear it from you quickly. So before we kind of get into our discussion, so you work from home, you go to your office sometimes, you're married to a produce farmer,
Yes.
and
2 small kids.
yeah.
Yep, that's it. Yep, sounds good. That's definitely it, of juggling work and family, and a produce farmer is fun in the summer times. It can be a little chaotic. We thankfully here in the end of August are starting to go down the downhill slide with produce and slowing down. So I'm looking forward to having my husband back to help juggle all of the chaos.
Because he gets up in the middle of the night to pick sweet corn.
Yes, he gets up.
I know
in the
that's just one very small piece of what he does, but it's the piece that fascinates me the
Yeah,
most.
so the guys go out around midnight and start picking corn, and so his job is all of the logistics on the trucks. So we have 23 markets that we send trucks to, and his job is to make sure all of the correct inventory items are on each truck and ready to go. And so he does that around 2 a.m. So by the time the first batch of corn's going, the furthest trucks away, furthest markets away can get going. So, yeah, but that's the produce side of things. Work,
And you're not
sorry.
actually involved in a career kind of way with the farm. Yeah.
at all. I often joke I love my in-laws, so let's keep it that way. And so, no, it's a good size operation, and there could be a place for me there. But honestly, Scott and I have talked about it a lot, and summer is so demanding, and I don't know that both of us can have our schedules be that demanding at the exact same time. So that is where
Sure.
that's kind of our bottom line.
Now with the kids, for sure.
Right.
Being the age they are.
Being the age that they are, and both of us just can't be working 80 hours a week, him more, just during that time of year. It's just not fair to them. So that's one of the major reasons why I decide to work off the farm at Farm Bureau. So.
And can you tell us a little about your work?
Yeah, I work with our young ag professionals. Some states call it Young Farmers and Ranchers, but it's a program specifically for Farm Bureau members ages 18 to 35. We do different contests, conferences, programs, and events for that age group of members. And I also work with our AgriPower Leadership Institute, which is a 9-month intensive advocacy training program to give people both personal and professional skills to help them become better advocates.
Awesome.
That's what I do.
That's what you do.
That's what I do.
And so you have been...
And lots of laundry. Let's not forget laundry. Lots of laundry.
Oh, but your children are so sweet. If I can share just so I met your kids. We're recording this in the morning. I met your kids last evening and I spent the night. And your wonderful toddler son, when he left for the evening to go upstairs to go to bed, told me sweet dreams, even though he had just met me. And I thought that was so cute.
Oh, it is so great. Cute. But when he's sweet like that, you're like, you got to watch it. Something rod's coming out soon. It puts me on high alert.
So I asked you to record this with me, and I said, I'm going to ask all these women about some advice, and then we're going to talk through it. So, because you've been in a career now for 10 years, and you work with a bunch of other young professionals as well. You've got great perspective on a lot of pieces, both for yourself and from all the folks that you work with. So we've got several pieces of advice that women our age believe that their 50-year-old selves would likely give their current selves. So if we jump 20-ish, 15 to 25 years in the future to when we're 50, what advice do we think our future self would give our current self? So one of the ladies had said, stop doubting yourself. You're better than you think you are. Now, you probably don't know everything, but you definitely know more than you think you are. So stop doubting yourself. You're better than you think you are. Do you find, do you ever?
That resonates a lot. A lot. Whenever I think of future careers, moves, not even outside of Farm Bureau, but future career moves and what's next for me in my career path, there's a major amount of self-doubt or imposter syndrome of, am I qualified? Can I do that? And why not? You know what I mean? Why not? If there's something that I am passionate about and can take the time and dig in, why do I hold myself back? There's been so many what I'm trying to say is there's been so many other experiences along the way where I felt that way, but once I've just committed to it and made it happen, success has followed. Whatever you define success as, but that success has followed. And so why would that not be true for all these other areas? And what am I not doing because of my own self-doubt that I could be doing? And why am I limiting myself? It's a really good piece of advice. All right, well, I'm going to have to sit with a glass of wine.
It's 9 o'clock, Melinda. No.
5 o'clock somewhere? I said tonight.
Tonight. Yeah.
5.
Yeah. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. I think it's probably more true for women, and not to divide the discussion between men and women, but I think women especially find themselves thinking that and doubting themselves. And I don't know why that is, and we don't necessarily need to know the answer, but I think it's especially true with women to go, oh, am I qualified to do this? Can I really do this?
I had a really great conversation with a mentor the other day, and I heard her tell a group of young women that said, she's like, why is it whenever, let's say there's a job posting and it has these 10 things you have to be qualified for. She's like, most males will be like, of the 10, check on 2. Sure, I'll throw my name.
Apply. Yeah.
And the women are like, I have 9. Don't have that 10th one yet. Can't apply.
Yes.
Can't do it. And she's like, stop doing that. Apply.
Yes.
And so when I heard her say that, I was like, holy Moses, that resonates, because even the littlest thing of like, I'm not real sure I know how to do this. So I'm just going to, like, this one tiny piece of it. So I'm just going to withdraw from it all. You know?
We're our own gatekeeper.
We're our own gatekeeper.
And so in a conversation I was also having with this group of women, we were talking about like wanting, we have a tendency to want someone's stamp of approval on things. And so I've been thinking about how, in previous years, if you wanted to write a book, you had to have a publisher or an agent or somebody who was like, yes, this is worthy of trying to get out there in the marketplace. If you wanted to have a radio show, you had to find a station. You had, there were all these kind of channels and gatekeepers that you had to go through in order to do something, essentially getting someone's stamp of approval. But now anybody can be a YouTuber, and you can write your own book and publish your own book. And we're recording this audio that's going to live on the internet. And we didn't have, nobody had to tell us it was okay,
right,
to do that. And so sometimes maybe we miss that those things aren't present, and yet we have so many opportunities because of that. But there are no gatekeepers. But sometimes we're the gatekeeper ourselves. Like I don't have the 10th qualification, therefore I should not apply.
I should not do this, right?
What?
Absolutely.
But we all do it. How do you think you get past that? Not past it. I don't think we ever get past it.
No.
How do you think you deal with that and yet find a little more confidence to keep moving? That's a tough question to dive into in the morning. How many cups of coffee have you had?
Seriously. I don't know that I have the answer, but at all. And for every person, it's going to look so different.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's just putting myself out there in those uncomfortable situations and letting myself see that I made it out on the other side just fine. And it's really okay.
Yeah. Just
pushing myself a little bit more. I am like the queen of stability, security, safety net. Like I'm the queen of not that I don't like to go do adventurous things, or I just, in terms of my career, I'm very much of I always said I was going to retire from Farm Bureau, and I don't think that's a crazy thought for me, because I love what I do and I don't feel the need to go all these, other directions. But I do think within my career, it's okay to push myself into this space that I'm not comfortable with. And then to be able, the important part with that is to be able to look back and say, see, I did it. See, I did it. See, it was okay. Why did you not trust yourself on that? I don't know.
That's good stuff.
Being retrospective.
Well, and just starting small too. Like you can, push yourself in a really small way at first. Like if it's too uncomfortable to push yourself in a really big way at first, just push yourself in a small way. And that might be like going to a networking event that you might not have otherwise, or putting your, hat in the ring for a just volunteer type role. I mean, it doesn't have to be something big.
Right.
That's good. That's good stuff. Okay. Here's another one. Stop putting life into compartments.
Right. So I struggle with this one a lot. I feel like there is professional Melinda, there's mom Melinda, there's wife Melinda, there's social Melinda. There's social Melinda with really good friends, like that most of the world probably shouldn't see her now. But there are segments now. I don't feel that I change through all of that, but I figure I think that I gatekeep. Maybe talk about that.
Yeah,
like the floodgates control just how much of the Melinda you get. The Melinda. All right, that reminds me. Scott is like a major Game of Thrones fan, and Scott's like always like Game of Thrones, and Audrey's like, it's not Game of Thrones, it's the game of mom. And so that has been a phrase around our house of like the game of mom, and Scott's like, everybody loses. You have no idea. Oh, but anyhow, I feel that I don't know if it's compartmentalizing, but I am guarded in different areas of my life, and that is compartmentalizing, I guess, in a sense.
Well, I mean,
yes and
you're gonna. I think people will have different personas or some different shades of themselves and different. I mean, you're obviously gonna maybe really be more of yourself with your spouse or your kids, or you're at a family gathering and things like that than you would be at a committee meeting
Right.
for work,
Networking.
but you're right. So maybe it is a more reserved version of yourself. But
I do feel like I shut off work when I have the kids.
yeah.
Or I try to shut off work and
Yeah.
have the kids and then have the kids and then go to work. So sometimes I wonder, because of the kids with the farm and Scott, they get to see what Scott does every day. And I just do Farm Bureau and I go to hotels is what my kids think I do.
You
not
do
really-
Farm Bureau.
I do Farm Bureau and I go to hotels. And so there's a lot in that statement. But anyhow, I do wonder.
It's hard for them to see it.
It's hard for them to see it
Yeah.
because I do work from home, away from our state office,
Yes.
away from the events.
Yes.
They aren't with me at the events. And so I do compartmentalize that. And I wonder what that means
For you or for the kids?
everywhere. And I
Oh.
also wonder what that means for coworkers who don't necessarily see that side of me,
Yeah.
or, folks who don't see the mom side of me, what that means or what that,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and it is different for everyone because everyone's life operates differently. And I think, if you're somebody who works in any fashion, like makes dollars from some portion of work in your life, whether that's for another organization or something you do yourself or part-time or full-time, whatever, and are involved in any kinds of organizations and have a family life. I mean, there's a lot of pieces to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there is some value for a lot of people in just knowing my life every day is going to consist of all these pieces, and I'm going to kind of shift from one to the other fluidly.
Mm-hmm.
And in some conversations, I'll be more reserved than I am when I'm just, running around the yard with my kids. And yet, I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends on how you define compartmentalizing. But
because I'm sitting here thinking,
Mhm.
I don't think I do that, but maybe I do that. But I don't know.
yeah, well, here. So another piece of advice here was be present in the here and now.
Mm-hmm.
And someone else that I work with recently told me she was trying harder to be where her feet were, and I loved that. Right. And so I think that probably plays into a lot of this like compartment conversation, right? So maybe it's not as much about not feeling like there's the part of you that works and the part of you that's on this committee and the part of you that volunteers in your church. I mean, you're just a whole you, and it's about wherever you are being very present, wherever your feet are. So when Audrey has come home from school and the kids are here, that you've made it a priority that I'm not in my office. I'm not on my phone with my emails. I'm playing with the kids for those few hours. Like I'm very present. Mm-hmm. I may go back to answering emails after they go to bed.
Right. Absolutely.
Whatever. So maybe it's not necessarily about compartments, but about wherever you are, being present
in that moment.
Yeah.
And that's something I struggle with. And I wouldn't say as much personally, because yes, there are times where work is demanding of an answer review right now, and you've got to do that.
Right.
And so I don't feel like I'm there, but I try to put the phone away, try not to have the TV on, that kind of stuff with the children. But I do feel like with work that I'm not always present in the sense of I might be sitting right across from you. But because my mind is reeling with other things with work, I might not be able to have the genuine conversation that it's important for me to have with you because I am distracted, preoccupied, or focused on something else that's requiring my attention at that time with work. And I noticed that the other day I had a meeting with our administrative assistant, and she was kind of going down through this list and talking about something. Well, my mind was back up on point A instead of B, and I was like, wait, I did not listen to anything you just said. 30 seconds into this conversation, it dawned on me you were talking, and I needed to back up to focus on that. And so I have a hard time of shutting my mind down in
any situation.
In any situation. Mm-hmm. I even do this like driving. Like this is ridiculous. Like I will be driving and I will be thinking it. Like I'm listening to a podcast or a radio show or whatever it is, and I will be driving and I'm so into that. But then I will catch myself a couple minutes later.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, wait, I missed forever of this.
Yeah.
So.
Real life happening. Melinda's phone is ringing. Yep. That's cool. So being present is a challenge, whether it's I'm with my kids and I need to be present, or I'm at work and I need to be very present with the exact thing that's happening with work. And I think too, like, again, not to divide things between men and women, but I think women have a tougher time with that usually because when you're at work, you're also going, okay, wait, what was it I was making to make for supper tonight? And what time does so-and-so need to be picked up? And, you know, it's not like that keeps you from being effective at your work, but there is kind of this just like running list that's constantly like going. I wish people could see what I'm doing right now with my hands. Like there's like this constant list that's going in the back of your mind all the time. It's like the little ticker on the bottom of the news show. So going. Even though there's the main thing that's happening on the show, there's this little ticker that's always got the running information at the bottom.
And I even feel like at work, I'm that way with work stuff of my mind is multitasking 6 different projects at once.
Yeah.
And I am always flipping through the details of those 6 different projects at once.
Yeah.
And it's like, ooh, squirrel.
Yes.
This about a completely different topic, write it down before it leaves my brain. And then back on topic. And then I'm flipping through again. Yeah. And I just think that's because.
And I have to write those things down too. Like in the moment, I just write it down and then I can focus again. Right. So I want to ask you something specifically, if you don't mind. I know you had an Apple Watch. And then you decided later you did not want to have the Apple Watch anymore.
Gave it up.
Because it was the constant squirrel kind of.
Right. All the time. Like,
in fact, like it influenced me to not care about having an Apple Watch, the fact that you got rid of yours.
Right. It was always, you know, like you could use not even excuse, but it happens to leave your phone in the car or my phone was in the other room.
Yeah.
That damn Apple Watch. It was always there. And it was this even the interruption of a buzz of a spam email of like Amazon Prime deals, which is not spam. But even, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even that stuff was a constant interjection.
Both when you're in the yard with the kids and when you're sitting at your desk working. Like it's not just about being interrupted with work emails. It's about being just distracted at any time.
All the time. I hated it.
Yeah.
So I couldn't handle all of that coming at me. What is the one lady always says, like, stop at me, like coming at me. And I was like, don't at me. And I'm like, that's what I felt like that stupid Apple Watch was something was always at me. I'm like,
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always think like if you have a job where you are, well, like Scott, your husband, you know, he is constantly like literally on the go moving, and it might be really inconvenient to take your phone out of your pocket for something. Mm-hmm. Someone like him might really love having an Apple Watch. I always have my phone right near me anyway. Right. And so I'm sort of like, I don't think I need the extra.
What's the point?
It would look cool.
He is not allowed to have an Apple Watch because he goes through like 5 iPhones a year. So the fact of like 5 iPhones and an Apple Watch, like,
no, you're like, this is not the budget. This is not the budget. Just get your phone out of your pocket.
To drop again to buy a new one, please.
But the Apple Watch would be attached to his person, so maybe it would be better. Okay. So another one was I think these two go together. Actually, these other 3 sort of go together. So one is 90% of the shit you're worried about does not matter. Also, stop stressing and just live. And the third one, soak up the things you can enjoy right now, as in like stop worrying about the things that you don't have, you can't do right now, and just soak up the things that you can enjoy right now. I liked all those. I think they kind of go together in one theme. Like 90% of the shit that you are worried about doesn't matter.
How many times have you focused on an odd, awkward, uncomfortable conversation that you had that meant nothing to the other person, but you dwell on it, focus on it, worry about it? Or it's out of my control anyhow. Like I might want to rant and rave and scream about it, but at the end of the day, I don't get to make that decision. I don't get to move that forward. I don't get to stop this, whatever it is.
Right. And we worry about stupid things like, am I raising my children right? How much money will they spend in therapy? Those kind of questions. Oh, yeah. You too, huh? Yeah. And there's, so I mean, like those kind of things, but also just like the little things like, what did we say last night? Like, is this the right paint color?
Right.
Who cares?
Right.
Like, it's 2 shades different.
Right.
It's not really going to matter.
Exactly.
Like, just pick one.
Exactly.
Or, I'm worried that like the garden isn't doing well this year, or that should my kid be in softball or not? I mean,
right. Are they in too much? Are they not in enough? Are they this?
yeah.
Are they
I mean,
that?
they're good.
Yeah.
Some of those are good questions to ask, but like at the end of the day, like,
right. Exactly.
like, should I color my hair or not? I mean, just decide. I mean, it's fun. Just make it, just do one or the other and be cool with it. Like,
Right.
don't worry about it.
What's that other quote that's like, let enough be enough today, or something
I
like
don't
that,
know.
or like
But I like it.
what I've done today is enough, or something like that. I botch
Yeah.
all of that good stuff, but the
Yeah.
the sentiment is, what I've accomplished is what I've accomplished.
Yes.
And that literally is all I could accomplish.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the stop stressing
stressing
and just live. Like,
just do.
life might not happen in the timeline that you thought, in terms of things that are happening in your job or your family or whatnot, or your house. We all like want a nicer kitchen and want to have the dream house.
Right.
And maybe, so sometimes it's about like timing of life we stress about.
Right. I read
know.
that one again about the
To just stop stressing and just live. Oh, and the other one, soak up the things that you can enjoy right now. Because like I sometimes am like, oh, I really want a bigger kitchen. Like my kitchen now is fine. Like it's an old farmhouse. It's very functional. It's nice. Like it's perfectly fine. I would just like a bigger kitchen because I'd like a little more countertop space. And I would like to be able to entertain more easily because it gets really crowded when just a few people come over. So I could spend all my time worrying about what I don't have, or how soon I will get a new kitchen in either, our house now or a different house, or I can just enjoy what I can enjoy right now, which is the kitchen I have now, and cook in it rather than freak out about not cooking at all until I have the gourmet kitchen, which would be stupid.
Right.
But that's the kind of stuff I think about.
No. So to me, that soak up what you can enjoy now also means like the phases of life, and whatever phase of life that means for you of right now with the children. I need to enjoy them now because every parent tells you it goes so quick and they're gone. Right. I wish I would have told my single self, like, soak up and enjoy this ability to read. A book a week.
Yeah.
Like, enjoy
whatever
that,
season it
whatever
is. And the things that you can do then, just do that.
Right. Exactly. Well, and like soak up. I was sick a couple of weeks ago, and I was on the couch the whole day, and it like blew my kids' minds because I'm not ever on the couch, and it was a gorgeous day. And Audrey like came in and was like, okay, Mom, it's like 5:00 and it's nice outside, and we have got to go outside to enjoy this sunshine. And that's something I say to them of like, summer is a small time.
Yes.
Like you get every ray of
Yes.
sunshine
Like,
you
especially
can.
here in the Midwest, it's like,
We live outside.
Yes.
We live
my
outside.
husband's like,
Summer.
there are 3 months of the year I like it here.
And why am I here the rest?
Yes.
I often say we need to start waiting for our produce south. Start that bad boy up in Florida, shall we?
That sounds like a good option.
I'm trying.
Okay, so the last one here is a little bit lighter, but still important. Take care of yourself. Drink more water. I constantly am
wine.
like,
All right.
yeah.
I think that's a good addition.
I am squarely in my mid 30s now, and I still have some of the habits that I developed in college, like literally not washing my face at night most nights and just going to bed.
I thought you were going to say eating instant mac and cheese for dinner every other night.
No, I have moved past that. But
to the boxed mac and cheese, because that's where I am.
I've graduated to the Pioneer Woman mac and cheese. But just some of those things, like I'm getting better at drinking more water, but just like skincare and like taking care of myself because my metabolism is not what it used to be, and some of those things. And so this was not me who said this, but I totally agree with it. I think when I am 50, so I'm in my mid 30s, I'm getting near the end of the time of my life where you can kind of do whatever you want and it's still okay.
Right.
Now I'm getting to the point in my life where like if I don't take care of myself, my body is going to tell me.
Right.
And I think when I'm 50, which is not that far then from now, like I think I will look back and go, oh crap. Like I really needed to have eaten better.
Right.
And not drank so much pop.
Right.
And have been more active or whatever.
So all of that physical stuff, which I'm like completely horrible about, and I get in this really awesome phase of like, I'm going to work out for 2 months, and then I'm not for 3. And then I might again for another 2 months, so that I won't for 3. So that, like all of that. But to me, even more importantly, is kind of like the mental, like the mental and emotional self-care stuff, because that just isn't much I know about. And the pull yourself up by your bootstraps and truck forward and make it happen. And like all of that stress in the way of being, I guess that's how I was brought up, in the stress of that constant beating yourself up to improve, do better, succeed, all of that. I think all of this that statement goes completely with that self-care too.
It's not just a physical piece of skincare and taking care of your body.
It's the unplug for a day. And if that means sitting on the couch, if that means hiking, if that means
taking a real
weekend, right?
Yeah.
Or on vacation,
really being on vacation.
Yeah. Yeah. So all of
those
that
are great points.
Kind of self-care too.
Yeah. Without because I think self-care is a term that is very real, but can often be interpreted as very woo-woo. And some people use as an excuse to just be like, I have to have a self-care day. And I'm like, but do you? I mean, maybe you do. I don't know.
Right.
And of course, that's a mentality and mind shift that does need to shift in the workplace, because sometimes you do. And it's not as easy to see as like, yes, I can tell you've been getting a cold and you need to stay home.
Right.
So I do not want to downplay at all the need for those actual days from work. But I think for just like general habits, it's more about like knowing how to like find time, making time to read if you like that, or making time to take a real weekend and actually disconnect for that time, or setting yourself up to when you are taking vacation days to really be on vacation. That doesn't mean taking a trip, but I just mean like actually freeing yourself from the work or whatnot. And it might also be like you were telling me you and your husband are taking a trip soon, like without the kids for a few days. And so it's also about saying like, how do I take care of the relationships in my life now? Because that's a way of also taking care of myself and the relationships and network that I have.
Right. No, I mean, and that's kind of the truth of it, of unplugging sometimes also means unplugging from your family. And that might sound really horrible. And sometimes it could be from your spouse or from your children or from your extended family. Like there are times where I'm just like, I just want our little family to do it and not the entire team.
Yeah. And you need a balance of all those things for sure.
There are times where I want and I need them around.
Yes.
And so... Yes.
So I just was spending some time with this group of women, and it was an overnight, kind of retreat, that we were at. And one of the ladies has a very young, like less than 6 months old, child. And this was the first time she had been away overnight. But I love that she said, it's okay. Like I need to be away from her once in a while. Like this was good. I was going to have to do this at some point.
Right.
And I love my child, but like I also need an identity beyond being them. Her mom.
Right.
And so it's okay for me to leave overnight now and do this.
That stage, you don't have the identity.
Yes. And I was like, you're right. And sometimes I don't think of those things on my own because I don't have children, but I immediately was like, I totally get what you're saying. Like that, it was important for her.
With your spouse.
Yeah.
Sometimes I need to have this identity outside of my spouse.
I just need a little me time for this beyond just the relationships too.
Yeah. And it's so that every fall, Scott and I try to. Last year we did a family vacation where we all went to the beach with the kids, and it was amazing. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
that was not a vacation. Like
It was also exhausting.
I worked the entire time. Like it was fun. We had a great time. We made memories. But I said to Scott, he and I didn't get to do the reconnect piece. And so the laid back fun, he and I can be carefree piece. And so it's good to see that in each other and remind each other that person still exists. I just don't have the privilege of doing it every day.
Yes. Well, and taking care of that relationship, because at some point, 20 years from now,
they're going to go.
It'll just be the two of you again.
Yeah. I mean,
you're going to need to know how to do that.
We're hoping it's pretty close to when they're 18.
So maybe not 20, maybe less.
No, I don't want them that. Like they 18, they can go on to college, wherever that is. I'll pay for everywhere but Michigan. I just cannot. Right. But that is something that I worry about. And I see friends that kind of put their kids forward in first place. And not that we all do that, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, that guy's going to be around here, hopefully. And you got to figure out how to have conversations with them. So.
Okay. So to wrap this up, we were talking about advice that other people were going to give their current selves. I didn't prep this ahead of time. I should have asked you so you would know, but what advice do you think your 50-year-old self would give your current self?
I think
I'm putting you on the spot.
I know we hit on a lot of the themes.
Yes.
But I think my biggest one is be present and enjoy the moment. The way my brain is wired, I'm always 10 steps ahead. My brain is we're 10 steps down the road, so it can be an easy, smooth transition piece. And I love that because I like the organization of it, but I also am like, I feel like I can brush people and things aside that shouldn't be.
So whether you are
doing that,
having a conversation with a colleague or picking one of the kids up from school or whatever. So all kinds of situations.
All of it. Or even
speaking with a member at an event.
Right.
Yeah.
All of it. And, cooking dinner, and sometimes you just want to execute it quickly but sure, come up here and let's make 10 times more of a mess and spend 10 times longer, because that's what should matter and not the fact that I have this raging long to-do list after the fact. So that's and eat the cookies and drink the wine. Like it's screw self-care.
Sometimes having the cookies is self-care. Let's be honest.
Beating yourself up. And I think that's the other one is like, I am hard on myself and those around me. And I'm hard on them. I have this very high level of expectations. And when it's not met personally, I can beat myself up like crazy. And same way with those folks around me, the folks that I work with, my spouse, my children, I have this high level, and I can be hard. I am hard.
You're great though. You're great.
It's debatable.
I saw you with your kids. So I've known Melinda for a while, but this was the first time I really saw you like with your kids in your element. You're a great mom.
Wow.
I always knew you were a great colleague, and now I know like you're a great mom too. To see you around your kids, they're fun.
Thank you. I don't know that it's all. I don't know how to say this on the up and up, but we do our thing.
Yeah,
we are what we are.
And so, you also, just really quickly, if you want to follow along with more of Melinda doing her thing, like you have a blog that you sometimes will post some really fun things too once in a while.
Every now and then. Yeah. I don't do it as much as I used to. So it was.
But if you do want to get a few more stories, they can find some more there. Where can they find that?
It's Sweet Ag Life is the blog on WordPress, and then my social media, Facebook, Melinda Witten.
Yeah.
I am what I am. Yeah.
So we'll put that, we'll make sure that's like here in the post how to spell your name and everything so they know where to find you. So
yeah, no H. We're not that sophisticated. Just W-I.
Thank you so much for doing this with me.
It was fun.
All right. Thank you.